Hi girls, welcome to the pod. If you don't work with me one-to-one and you are a follower of me on socials or of the pod, you might come to me for guidance around how to feel great in menopause, like behavior change, nutrition advice, strength training for beginners, that type of thing. And that's all well and good. That is practical stuff, and I will continue to help with that. But what you might not realise is that the majority of the work I do with the women who come to me for coaching is up here, is headspace stuff, is mindset work. So today on the pod, I want to do a little bit with you, but obviously it's bite-sized this, so it's going to be a taster, and it's going to be the first thing I do with most of my coaching clients that are stuck in a negative headspace. So kind of like the ground zero work. And if you are currently stuck in a rut, feeling negative or like everything's against you, where you find it far easier to kind of see hurdles and what you can't do and what's hard for you than what's working well. If you're stuck in an all or nothing headspace, i.e., and it'd be perfect if I'm not, I'll press the fuck it button and go back to square one with my health and wellness, this is going to be impactful for you. And it's not moving mountains, it's really simple as a first little task. Very, very impactful. So today we are talking about glimmers because you'll be really familiar with the word triggers, I'm sure. It is everywhere at the moment. Everybody can list off everybody and everything that triggers them, everything that gets on their tits. And I'm good at this, but I usually do it tongue in cheek because I'm good at the glimmer bits as well. But I can say, oh yeah, loads of people who work in the women's health space, for instance, trigger the fuck out of me. People selling supplements to you that you don't need, trigger me. But there's loads of glimmers too. But you'll be aware of triggers. That is things that trigger some sort of negative reaction in you, usually some sort of visceral negative reaction. But you might not be aware of glimmers. Glimmers are the opposite. Glimmers are the micro moments in every day, the little sparklers, the little bits of joy, peace, contentment, security, comfort, positive things that most people overlook, don't even notice. If they do, they don't take any time to lean into it. They just whiz about the day because they're busy, stressed. But they put loads of time, effort, and energy into thinking about what they fucking hate, what all the triggers are, but very little into seeing the glimmers. So today's pod is going to help you understand what glimmers are, how to spot them, how to reprogram your brain to naturally hunt them out, which is crazy. We can actually reprogram your brain. We can create new neurological pathways by just doing these little things and why it's going to benefit you. So it's going to be, like I said, a powerful pod today, and I'm buzzing because I love the mindset work that I do. Like I say, arguably, it's far more impactful than the practical stuff that I tell you about. So what I mean is, most women, other than like, yes, there's a lot of confusion with like the bullshit that's said on socials, but most women know the basics around feeling better, the practical stuff, right? But a lot of them just don't do it. And they come to me and they say, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. And that's because the headspace isn't there. We need to get the head right so that they then do the thing. So I'm going to give you examples, right? Most women who come to me for coaching, let's think about the demographic I coach. Women like me, usually menopausal or perimenopausal or postmenopausal, right? So around this, what can be a really challenging stage of life, mid 40s to 60s, loads of responsibilities, stressed, overwhelmed, under-supported by every fucker around them, struggle with boundaries, don't often have a lot of things in their life that bring them joy because they're doing everything for everyone else. So overall, it's not looking that rosy. Like it's not that positive a situation they've got themselves in. They probably then, because they've neglected themselves, feel like shit in the body. They don't like what they see when they look in the mirror. They've got aches, the pains, they're knackered all the time, their energy's low, right? So that's where they are. Imagine that. So that's the type of person who applies for coaching. Not everyone, but most. Others are like off the back of cancer, illness, injury. So again, pretty fucking doom and gloom, right? So that's where we are. So that person comes to me and I could give them a training plan and some calories and some support on nutrition and they still won't fucking do it. Like even the most motivated ones, right? The disciplined ones might do it for a bit. Not gonna do it forever because of their headspace. But immediately we start to do the work on headspace And then they start to be the sort of person who sees things differently and shows up consistently. Because when they do the work on headspace, they step away from all or nothing thinking, which is what holds most women back. So imagine a woman just like I've described, let's say Steph, right? Because I've spoke to Steph today. Steph comes to me and feeling exactly as I've just described. And for the first few weeks, especially, Steph needs me to spoon feed her as a coach because she's stuck in a fixed headspace. So she's seen what triggers her, she's not seeing glimmers, and she's seeing everything that's wrong, everything she can't do, everything that hurts, everything her body isn't, everyone who's annoying her, everything that's hard. So she needs me to spoon feed her week after week of like, go and do this for me, Steph. Come back, tell me how you got on. Right, you did that. How do you feel? Go and do this again. Now add this in. Or you didn't do it. Why? All right, okay, try this instead. Maybe this will work better for you. Right, so that's Steph. First few weeks. Fixed mindset. Steph's committed. She's all in with coaching. She's doing the work on mindset. She knew when she signed up, it wasn't another diet Steph needed, it was direction, right? Let's fast forward now 6 months of doing the work on mindset with me, starting with what I'm going to give you today. Steph shows up for calls. Somebody shouldn't even fucking need calls. She just does her check-in, video checking, and she's like, enough this week, bets and flying. But she does her calls now and again, and when she's doing them, she's getting on with solutions. So she's moved into a growth mindset. She's saying to me, so this came up for me, and rather than hit the fuck it button, this is what I did. All right, okay, so there's no catastrophizing. She's come up with solutions herself. Or she gets on the call and goes, this month I'm away with workloads, and that means I'm going to be in hotels and this, and this. This is what I'm going to do. What do you think, Bex? Growth mindset. Steph no longer needs me to spoon feed her, easy for me to say, and eventually gets to a place where she is bulletproof. These are the people where it sticks, the ones who do the mindset. The girls who come and just go through the motions and get excited with the food and the training side of things and don't bother with any of the headspace stuff because they're too busy or whatever it is. Trust me, 18 months later, they're going to be back or they're going to be trying the next thing. It's the mindset people that are bulletproof. So, what do I do with them? How do they get from fixed to growth? As I say, fixed, remember that's when you see hurdles, problems, you get stopped in your tracks, you quit a lot, you're all or nothing in terms of your thinking. Growth is, this is what's happened, how can I get around it? This has happened to me, but I can control how I respond. I'm taking my power back. What's next for me? This is an opportunity. So that's the two. We'd all rather be growth, surely. This is where we start, okay? We start by finding the glimmers. And this sounds so basic because it is, but it literally, as I've said, new neurological pathways, changes the way you think. So instead of somebody starting the day and it's busy and they're a bit late and the kids are doing their fucking head in and they get in the car and it's raining and every light's red and there's roadworks and somebody's driving like a dick and they get to work, they drop the kids off, but they're a bit late so there's not really anywhere to park and then they get wet on the way in. Instead of, that's how my day went, and now I'm going to sit in it and be a miserable bitch all day and tell everybody who'll listen that my day was terrible, my start was awful. And you do, don't you? You bang on about it to everyone. You start to be a person who leans into the glimmers. So I'm not saying you take that and you make some sort of, Christmas cake out of it. But what you do is on the days when that doesn't happen, the days that most people overlook, where everything went all right, you drove to work without any incident, somebody like flashed you and let you out the junction, you got to work, there was parking space outside, you walked in and your colleague handed you your brew, which might be a normal day, the average day. People who look for glimmers are leaning into that and going, what a fucking great morning I've had. Look at all those things that went well this morning. That's going to be the difference. So to get there, how do you start? Because obviously you can't just go out and start thinking like that tomorrow. So the first thing you do is you start setting yourself targets to spot 3 to 5 glimmers in every day. And I start off by saying to my clients, right, at the end of every day, I want you to write down, send me if you want me to check them, 3 to 5 glimmers in your day. So mine might be, so I get up in the morning and the first thing is that I went downstairs and my dog is the first thing to greet me in the world in the morning, and I'm like buzzing. I love her. She was happy to see me. Glimmer, gave her a stroke. Second thing is, I went through to the kitchen and James passed me a brew. Glimmer, amazing, what a legend. Okay, so that's second example. Third thing is, I nipped out and my neighbour said, "How do?" as he was coming out the flats like he usually does. "How are you this morning?" "Yep, great, lovely." Glimmer, somebody being just nice. I've walked down to Asda, somebody's dog comes up. Mine are all very dog related, by the way. Somebody's dog comes up for a fuss. Glimmer, far before I've even got to Asda. Nip into Asda, I'm going for something in particular. Oh, it's fully stocked. It's not dead busy. It's quiet. It's clean. I got in and out. There wasn't a queue. Glimmer, glimmer, glimmer. Seeing positive things that are happening right in front of me that usually I'd just rush about overlooking if I was stuck in a triggering fixed mindset. So these are examples, girls. The person who let you out at the junction, the person who held the door open for you, the dog that ran up to see you. Daft stuff. My postman is deaf. Some days when he's got time, we stand and have conversations, typing out our notes on our phone together. Glimmer, cool little interaction. I love that time in the morning that he is far more interactive with me than people who have got the hearing. Like glimmers, just these are examples. So many of them that you'll just overlook. So that's your first little practical mindset task. And like I say, it's something that I would do with anyone who comes to me in a negative headspace for coaching. Try it. I've got somebody I'm working with right now, okay? I'm going to give you a real-time example. I'm not going to use a name because it's quite personal. So I work with a lady who is an oncology nurse. So part of her job, an occupational hazard, is that she's got a fucking dark and deep job, hasn't she? She's a oncology nurse. Did I just say oncology nurse? I think I did. So she came to me in quite a negative headspace, right? And every check-in, every video check-in we'd do, every coaching call, there was quite a lot of focus on, I can't do this, this is too hard, I can't get my protein in, I can't do that exercise, I didn't manage to find the time to do this went wrong, I've had a shit day, this is hurting, right? No fault of hers at all. It's an occupational hazard that she's in this deep job and she had no things in her life that were there to fill her cup. It was all about everybody else, right? But she's open to doing this work. She's fully open to it. She's a great client to coach because she comes to me and I give her tasks and she goes and does them and then comes back and goes, this worked and this is how this feels, right? I'm talking about her because she had a dark starting point, right? She said to me, I think it was not last week, the week before, I'm easily getting the three. We started off, I just asked her for like three goods, three glimmers. I'm easily getting the three and I'm starting to see them as I go. So I've noticed that when I'm driving or whatever, I start to see the glimmers in the moment. It's not when I'm getting home at night that I'm sitting doing that list. I'm starting to naturally see them. So that lady's brain is starting to shift. There's also loads of other things I've started to give her around managing the heaviness that comes with her occupation. But I wanted to give you an example there because most people listening to this pod won't be oncology nurses and won't have really dark shit to be coming out of. So I'm giving you that example because for this person, imagine how much she carries and this has worked for her, looking for glimmers. That's why I'm giving you her as an example because if you're not an oncology nurse and you're like, actually, it's menopause and my kids that are doing my fucking head in, for you, glimmers are going to be really impactful really quickly. So that is your task, girls, to go away and instead of focusing on everything that's wrong, take some time to lean into what is right and don't overlook the tiny, tiny stuff. The fact that, like, you've put your dressing gown on out the dryer in the morning and it was warm and cozy. Glimmer. Like, whatever it can be, tiniest little moments, start going out and observing them. Your homework is 3 to 5 a day, every day. Start by having to do it because it's a habit you're going to learn where you'll write them in a diary or a note on your phone or you'll say them in your head. 3 to 5 a day. And then after a couple of weeks, start to look for them out and about where you're going, do you know what? I'm going to challenge myself to see like 20 glimmers today. we're going to reprogram your brain. Think about how this then impacts, like I say, the approach to health, wellness, the all or nothing thinking, the ability to take radical responsibility for your own health and wellness and go, I'm going to show up. Because, for instance, I really respect my body, and actually, I'm really grateful that it's fit and well and pain free. So I am going to go to the fucking gym, whether I can be bothered or not, because I'm seeing all the glimmers, I'm seeing the positives. Anyway, I could have rambled on forever. I think I probably have been on a bit of a tangent, but I hope this has been helpful, powerful, impactful, and I hope you go away and do it. Because, like I say, it's working for people who have come to me in absolute shit shows. So I've been doing it for a long time. It works. I do it every day of my life, no matter what the shit show is. Get me glimmers. Anyway, girls, thanks for listening. Take care.